sunshine, welcome back to my channel, Alex in the Sunlight. I'm Alex and I'm so happy to see you. The purpose of today's video is to find out, gain some insight into what is in store for your love life in the year 2020. What's going on in your love life next year in 2020? If the reading resonates with you, please like this video, subscribe so we can spend more time together. Follow me on Instagram at Alex in the Sunlight. Consider becoming a patron over on my Patreon page, patreon.com/alexinthesunlight. And just because it is the Christmas season, go ahead and check out my botanical coloring book down in the description below. I sell it on Amazon and I think it makes a really great stocking stuffer. It's filled with nature scenes and patterns and positive affirmations and word searches and things like that. So check it out if you're interested. Okay, so we've got 4 groups here today. Group 1, malachite. Group 2, calcite. Group 3, lapis lazuli. And Group 4, celestine. Okay, if you've already chosen your pile, that's totally fine. But if you could just humor me and close your eyes, take a deep breath in through the nose, filling the chest and the belly with air. And as you exhale, ask your angels, your higher self, or your spirit guides to aid you in choosing the correct pile for you so that when you open your eyes, the one you are drawn to first is the right one. Okay, let's get started. Hey, Group 1, those of you who chose malachite. Okay, so overall, the feeling I'm getting for you guys in your love life in 2020 is that it's going to be filled with lots of blessings in disguise. But before I get into more detail, I just want to show you the cards. So you've got from the Wildwood Tarot deck, the Blasted Oak in reverse. You've got from the Teal Swan Frequency Tarot deck, Heart Chakra or Anahata in reverse. Striving from the Wild Offering Oracle deck. Aryan Rod from the Goddess Power Oracle in reverse, actually, sorry, I showed it up right. Change from the Sacred Geometry Oracle deck. And I Am Beautiful from the Oracle of the Angels deck. All right, so whether you are single or in a relationship, the message is the same. Next year is going to be about big changes when it comes to how you communicate and how you enter into and thrive in relationships, specifically romantic ones, because I feel like in a love reading, we can tend to think of everything being placed on romance, but I don't usually pull that way. I usually think of just love, like all encompassing in areas of your life, but specifically for you guys, I think this will be some significant changes when it comes to your romantic partnerships and how you just are yourself within those relationships. So when I say blessings in disguise, I mean like you have a lot of indication here that it's not necessarily going to be a walk in the park. That's why I said, regardless of if you are in a relationship or not, if you're single, there are things that you've got to work on that have to do with you. So even if you are in a relationship, I feel like if you guys are kind of wondering, like, where is this going? Or you've had some issues and, you could have been blaming your partner or putting it all on them and making it seem like external things are bothering you, or that the external is like the root of your problems, but it's really not. It's about going within and learning to value yourself so that you can better understand and value others. I feel like a lot of your relationship issues have come from not really knowing what you need and what you want, and then expecting people to kind of read your mind a little bit. So I feel like that's all going to change in 2020. You're going to start realizing that like micromanaging other people or trying to get other people to change to satisfy you doesn't work. You've got to work on you. And if you are in a relationship in 2020, you guys are going to have these conversations where it's like, okay, this is what's not working. And then, calmly deciding what to do moving forward. It's about seeing what you can change within you what you need to focus on within you. It's not about pointing fingers and being like, well, you've got to do this or else this isn't going to work. I feel like oftentimes when we get in these arguments or these spats with people, or we get in like a rough spot with our loved ones, it's so much of like, well, you need to start doing this, or you need to stop doing this and that. And it's like, really what needs to happen is we both have to listen to each other and then go in our, in our own spaces for a second and realize, okay, like, what is actually happening? What is this mirroring for me? What behaviors am I displaying that aren't actually helping this? And I feel like you guys are going to take more responsibility for how you feel in 2020 and not really expecting other people to just know how you feel. This blasted oak energy, it's in traditional tarot, this is like the tower moment, but it's in reverse. So, when the tower comes up, it's usually like things, external things that were built on rocky ground are crumbling down so that we can build something newer and better and stronger. Reverse, it's letting me know that this doesn't have to do with the external. This is internal. This is an internal change that is going to take place. And you may be resistant to it at first, but I feel like by the end of 2020, your emotional landscape is going to look completely different, and that is going to affect and inspire how you are from then on in your romantic relationships. There's going to be a lot of healing to be done as well. There's going to be a lot of healing in aspects of how you give and receive love. Some of you are kind of closed off from receiving, but then you are also resentful of giving. And it's like this vicious cycle where it's like you say that you're not getting enough, but then you're also like not really allowing any of it to come in fully. And then you are resentful of giving because you don't think that you're getting, but you didn't really open yourself up to receive in the first place. Like, you guys have a lot of healing in the heart chakra to do. Maybe you're the type of person and the type of people that say like, I really want love, I don't understand why it's not working out and this and that. And then you're not realizing that you actually have a lot of resistance to what it really means to love and be loved, right? So I feel like in 2020, this space in your life is really going to get a whole, like a revamp, right? And you're gonna learn a lot. And I feel like that's why I'm saying, it's blessings in disguise, because you may be up against your own personal blockages in your relationships, but they're there for you to finally break through them, right? So you can finally end this cycle of like working so hard for something as though it's like a job, when it's really meant to be, an emotive and feeling and loving experience. Relationships are work, but it's mostly inner work, right? And that work comes up because we are reflections for each other. We are mirrors for each other, especially the closer you get in a relationship, so much of childhood comes up in romantic relationships, and so much of, our outdated beliefs come up in relationships. So if you are resentful of that, start looking outside of your relationship and just within yourself to understand why you feel that way. Because it probably doesn't have anything to do with your partner. And I'm not saying, for those of you who are single and you're like, well, I can't even get to the point where we are partners because, it's not getting anywhere. There are internal blockages that you've got. There are these walls that you've built up that are going to have to come down in 2020. And I feel like you guys are going to learn that you got to start having fun with people that you are, romantically involved with, like, and not put so many boundaries on what fun looks like. You know what I mean? I get this very tense energy from this reading. So I feel like, 2020 is going to be a lot of letting go. You've got the striving card, and I just want to read to you what it says because I think it's important. Eventually, the individual ego's drive to make things happen falls away, replaced with a relaxed, trusting openness to answers as they arise. Thank you, Divine, for letting me move with the flow. Right, so regardless of if you are single or you're in a relationship, you're going to have to start going with the flow. You're going to have to start letting things unfold, right? Not putting so much pressure on your relationship or on a person to be what you need them to be and things like that, or put pressure on yourself to be something you think other people want. That is going to have to be let go in 2020, okay? And I feel like you guys are going to be going through things that just teach you that. Right now, it may be hard to grasp that kind of a thing, but along the way, like I said, blessings in disguise are going to be lots of important lessons that you learn. And one of the biggest lessons I feel like you're going to learn is how to be confident in who you are. Because I feel like that's another big issue that a lot of us have with relationships, right? If we don't value ourselves, if we don't find ourselves worthy, if we have negative self-talk, if we don't think we are attractive, then how are we supposed to adequately attract or have fun in the relationships that we want to be in, right? Because I've heard people say, like, if you don't love yourself, you can't love somebody else or whatever. I don't really think that's true. I think what it is if you are downing yourself constantly, if you are just super insecure and self-hating or anything like that, if you have any self-hating practices, they show up, you know what I mean? They show up in our relationships, and it doesn't mean that you can't love other people or they can't love you. It just puts blinders on you. You've got this heart chakra upside down. Like, it's like I said, this relationship with giving and receiving love, you're unable to really grasp it or to get a hang on it because of this lack of confidence, right? So in 2020, you're going to get your confidence. Either you're going to get it back or you're just going to learn what it is altogether, right? Just starting fresh, starting anew, because this I am beautiful card. And if you look at it, this person is coming out of this like barren land. It's like real dry and real ashy over here. And then like they're looking out and there's water, there's plants, it's lush, there's light. And I feel like you're going to learn that lesson. Like, my ego was convinced that I had to dislike myself in order to get better. And you're going to realize, like, actually liking myself, zeroes my focus in on a way better way to be, a way better life, a way better to communicate and have relationships in my life. So there's this huge shift happening in 2020 where you start understanding, yourself, discovering yourself, and parts of you that have been dormant. You know what I mean? Because I feel like you guys, you aren't completely lost. You have firm grasps on certain aspects of who you are and your character, but in this area in particular, your heart chakra, you're just kind of like, you're needing a balance, you're needing an alignment, and that change is happening because you literally have the change card. And I'll go ahead and read to you what it says. The frequency of change supports our ability to gracefully dance with the forever changing nature of reality, both inward and outward, so that we can appreciate the sweet release of the old and the birth of the new. Right. So, you're going to enter into a new decade. It's a whole new way of being, and romantic relationships, love relationships, they're such a huge part of who we are because they really teach us about ourselves and they really propel growth. And I feel like that's kind of the overall theme for you guys. Regardless if you're in a relationship or if you are single, it's about figuring out what you want and loving yourself enough to do the work to get it. And that work isn't being busy and like doing all the research and like coming at it like a work project. It's not like that. It's inside. Okay, it's the uncomfortable stuff. It's finding out why you feel the way you feel. It's that investigative stuff, you know what I mean? Uncovering, right? And kind of slowly, bit by bit, breaking down walls. And you do have the time, right? You guys may feel like you run out of time with people, or like, if you're in a relationship and you're worried about if it's going to last, or go back to going with the flow. Go back to being with what is. You don't have to predict you and your partner's future. You know what I mean? You don't have to, if you are single, you have time to find someone. I don't care how old you are. If you're still here, you have time. And that time is going to pass anyway. So don't waste it worrying about it. You know what I mean? You have the time, because with all change too, right? There is an adjustment period. So it will be an adjustment, learning like, oh, I can give love freely and not expect anything in return, and that feels really nice. Or I can just focus on what I can do better and set an example for, my partners, and if they don't follow suit or whatever, we can reevaluate, and I can find somebody who can actually, meet me halfway, or whatever it is. But taking a second look at this card, if you see, this person is kind of like, with the card being in reverse, it looks like they're flying, right? The lightning struck. All of this is some mess, but then it looks like they're propelled forward with fire, with passion, and it almost looks like they're flying away. But, or maybe not away, but just like to a higher level, to higher ground. Do you know what I mean? So lots of good, positive change coming. It may just be a learning curve. Okay? But I feel like it's going to be good either way. That's all I've got for you guys, group number 1. I really hope the reading resonated with you. Let me know down in the comments if it did. If you'd like a personal reading with me, go ahead and shoot me an email. All the info is down below. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. I truly appreciate it. The magic in me honors the magic in you. Be well. Bye. Hey, group number 2, those of you who chose calcite. Okay, so overall, in 2020, you guys are going to be really pushed, gently pushed, into changing your mindset around love, around life in general, but specifically with love. But before I get into the details of it, I just want to show you the cards. You've pulled the 9 of Arrows from the Wildwood Tarot deck in reverse. You've pulled Alignment from the Teal Swan Frequency Tarot deck in reverse. Abundance from the Wild Offering Oracle deck. Moving Towards the Light from the Angel of the Oracles deck. Spider Woman from the Goddess Power Oracle deck. And Solar Plexus Chakra from the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle deck. So basically, what's been going on is lots of fear, lots of lack, poverty mindset. And, poverty doesn't just mean money. It can affect all aspects of your life. Maybe you guys feel like you have been hurt by people in general, but especially, in romantic partnerships, you've sought out people who bruised your ego or made you feel worse than you already felt. And that's probably why you were attracting them. Like it was your subconscious way of like fulfilling that prophecy or that way of thinking about yourself. Like, I feel like you guys have said things in the past, like you're not, you can't be loved, or like, you're never going to find someone, and it could be all fun and games, but you're really going to have to stop. You're really going to have to knock that out in 2020, quit. We're not doing that anymore in 2020, okay? No more. No more down talking yourself. No more self-deprecation. No more fearing. Just having a connection with people, and you don't have to put so much pressure on those connections to pan out or to become your true loves or whatever it is. Like, you guys don't have to do that, all right, in 2020. I feel like a lot of you guys are single because so many of you are in this mindset of like, relationships don't work out for me, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not charming enough, or I don't look good enough. There's things that you hold yourself back from. Like, you have all these desires in relationships, and maybe you are in one that you aren't communicating your desires in. So, but you not communicating isn't your partner's fault, or you not communicating isn't the world's fault. Like, you've got to start owning who you are and step into your power and be confident about who you are. I don't care what anybody else ever told you. You know what I mean? At some point, and the point is now 2020, it's happening, but you're going to have to realize, like, I am keeping myself in these chains, no one else. I feel like specifically your guys' issue is your self-talk. It's your mindset. It's how you think every day, because it affects how you act. And you guys aren't even realizing that, you know, how powerful you are. You're so powerful. You are absolutely, at the helm here. So step into that power and take responsibility for yourself. Take responsibility for your life and who you are within your relationships. Okay, but I definitely think that it's happening. Change is afoot. Okay, like, I feel like 2020 is going to be about recovery for you guys, recovering from all of that negativity, recovering from all of that self-hating behavior. You know what I mean? Like, even if you think it's a joke, because I feel like some of you guys say things like that in jest, but it's not all the way a joke, is it? So I feel like in 2020, you guys are going to be working on your self-esteem and not needing validation from others to have that self-esteem. And you will finally attract what you want, because you will finally be stepping into your attractiveness. You know what I mean? Like, you are something to see just as you are. You are beautiful just as you are. But if you don't see it, you don't necessarily display that, right? When people feel good about themselves, there's a way that they carry themselves, and it makes people want to go up to them and talk to them. It makes them feel approachable. So that's what's going on in 2020 for you guys, a recovery, a reintroduction to who it is that you actually are, without all of that other stuff. You know what I mean? Without all of that other, like, all of that fear and things. And you guys are really protected. You don't have anything to be afraid of. I know that it's scary to be vulnerable, but that is how you get to those intimate moments with people, right? That's how you cultivate relationships that go beyond the surface. So you really do need to start being comfortable with being uncomfortable, if being vulnerable makes you uncomfortable. Okay? And the more that you start loving yourself, the more you will get to know yourself, the easier it will be for you to choose people who will not exploit your vulnerability. You know what I mean? So in actuality, it's like a win-win, basically. But there's so much mindset going on here, because even with, the 9 of arrows, the arrows correspond with swords. Swords is, like, to me, the mind, thoughts, right? Things that keep you up at night, nightmares and things like that. And you've got the abundance card. So I feel like it's going to be a really abundant year. It's going to be once you're going through this recovery, it's going to, like I said, make you into your actual attractive self. You being you, and you just owning that is going to put those vibes out into the universe. But you're going to have to do that, like, that hard but necessary work of letting go of all of those thoughts and all of those things that you used to say that kept you down. You know what I mean? But the card says, Divine Beloved, please show me how to feel fully deserving to receive. I release my ego's plan and open to being a vehicle for abundance. Right? These two cards are letting me know, you've denied yourself of things before. You've denied yourself, and you've told yourself that you didn't deserve. And you absolutely do. You absolutely do. So that's what's going on in 2020, is you're going to finally claim what's yours. And you've got moving towards the light. And so if you see, there's two people in this card. So I feel like maybe some of you guys will actually find somebody who helps you on this journey, maybe somebody who's been on this journey already, so they know what to do and they know what to say, and they're like, they see the beauty in you that you can't see yet. And it may start out as a friendship and then work into something more, but I feel like you will be helped. There will be sensitive people who care about you, that will help you along the way. But you're going to be, I feel like you're going to be manifesting. This is like some root chakra energy. This is like some fiery passion energy. Like this just, I feel like you guys are going to start realizing, you know what, like I have a hand in all of this, everything around me. So I deserve to live that, like, opulent, loving, like togetherness type of life. I feel like you guys crave togetherness, and you crave like intimacy and affection, and you're going to start manifesting that once you start claiming it. Once you start realizing that you deserve to feel those things, you're going to, because you're a co-creator of your own universe. And you've got the solar plexus here, so I feel like there's going to be a lot to do with having fun. Like I feel like you guys are going to go dancing or something, and like start feeling like getting back into your body and getting back into this space of like, like I have something to offer the world. I'm fun, I'm charming, I'm charismatic, like stuff like that, you know what I mean? But the card says, the frequency of the solar plexus chakra, the yellow flower of life, supports our sense of self, our personal power, and our willpower, as well as our knowing of who we are and what our contribution is to the whole. Yes, you have something to contribute. You have something to offer. Maybe you guys have been like, well, why would even this person want to be with me? I don't have anything to give them or anything. You do. You absolutely do. Being your unique and authentic self is giving, and it's more than enough. Okay, so that's all I've got for you guys, group number 2. I think it's going to be a really exciting year. I think it's going to be a really empowering year if you let it. All right, and you got it. It will be filled with love. So stop saying that it won't be. Okay, lots of love to you guys. All right, I really hope that it's a really wonderful and enjoyable, pleasurable year in 2020 for you guys. If the reading resonated with you, please let me know down below. I really hope it did. If you'd like a personal reading with me, shoot me an email. The info is in the description box. All right. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. I truly appreciate it. The magic in me honors the magic in you. Be well. Bye. Hey, group number 3, those of you who chose lapis lazuli, it's looking really good. I'll just say that first, but I want to get into showing you the cards before I get into the details of what I mean by that, okay? So you've got the Queen of Bows here in reverse from the Wildwood Tarot deck. She looks like a rabbit. And you've got Soul Family in reverse from the Teal Swan Frequency Tarot deck. You have Believe from the Oracle of the Angels deck, which is such a beautiful card. I love this card. Pause and just take a look at that card. It's so beautiful. But you also have the Travel card from the Wild Offering Oracle deck. Lilith, representing independence from the Goddess Power, the Goddess Power Oracle deck. And Emergence from the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle deck. So this is looking really great. I feel like, you guys are kind of like not really tripping off love. Like you're interested, but you're also like, And so 2020 is going to be a year full of like experiences. And I think the message is the same regardless of if you are with someone or you are single. If you are with someone, I feel like, your partner may feel or may have felt that you're kind of distant or more on the closed off side. And I feel like in 2020, you're going to, start really dealing with why. I feel like you guys are going to come into a stronger sense of self, because I feel like, you may have thought up until this point that you have a strong sense of self. But if you had the strongest sense of self that you possibly could, you wouldn't be feeling this fear of vulnerability and this fear of having deep and meaningful, intimate relationships, which I feel like is the case. So that's why I say, regardless, you can be single, you can be in a partnership, but you're going to be learning these lessons so that if you are in a partnership, it can deepen and can really be on even ground. And if you are single, it's so that you will come across, I feel like you will come across people who will really move you and kind of get you into a more open and trusting space. So I feel like a few things. If you are in a partnership and you really care about your partner and you want to be with them, in 2020, you're going to be working on some things and healing a lot of aspects of you so that you guys can deepen your relationship and actually feel, safe together and equally as invested in this relationship as the other, right? And then if you're single, I feel like there's a very good chance that you will meet a couple of people or one person that you enter into relationships with that kind of break you out of your shell and teach you that relationships can actually be enjoyable. You will maintain your independence, or if you feel like you haven't had it in the past, if you feel like the reason why you've been kind of distant is because you've relied too much on other people in the past, in 2020, like I said, your sense of self is going to really be strengthened, and your independence, your reliance on yourself is going to be strengthened as well. But it's interesting because I also do get the feeling that like your relationships are going to be strengthened. And I think it's funny because, oftentimes we kind of see independence as like a separation. And it's really not. The more independent we feel and the more comfortable and confident we are in ourselves, the easier and more fun and loving our relationships can be, and the way more honest they can be. Lots of the times we don't even realize, we're expecting people to read our minds, or we're expecting them to act in certain ways to make us feel comfortable, but it's like we're all in this together. And I know that sounds corny, but it's true. It's really true. Separation is an illusion. So you can make yourself feel like, I'm on an island and this is safe, but it's really not. And I feel like in 2020, you guys are going to realize that in a fun and loving way. Like it's going to be really fun for you. You guys are going to travel. I don't know if you've already planned a trip, if you are going on some kind of pilgrimage, or if you're going on like, maybe a few months, like you're going to live abroad or something, or uh, just some kind of thing like that. I feel like you're going to meet people along the way that also teach you about relationships. I don't think all of them are going to be romantic. I feel like friendship is also going to take hold in your life in 2020, because I feel like friendships are also in some ways intimate relationships, right? Oftentimes we are more comfortable being with our friends than we are our romantic partners if we aren't being authentic with our romantic partners. And that's why it's such a great thing when you can be friends first. So I feel like, there's many opportunities for you guys in 2020 to have those times and have those experiences. Like I said, regardless if you're with someone or you're single, like, I feel like it's just going to be kind of getting back to what it was like, how easy it was for us when we were kids to make friends, right? It's like, you just go to somebody's house. I don't know if anybody else did this. I mean, I know people did this, but like, I don't know if anybody watching did this, but like, you move into a neighborhood. We moved a lot. So I'd always have to be the new kid and like be like, okay, I'm just gonna go knock on people's doors and see if they have kids at home. Like it was literally like, now I can't imagine any kids doing that, but like that's what we did because we didn't have phones, cell phones, and we didn't have like social media. You had to go outside and you had to like be like, hey, do you want to play? I feel like that's what it's going to be like in 2020 for you guys. Meeting people and being like, "You want to play?" And not really worrying about if you're exactly the same or all the similarities you have. It's just like, well, you're a person, I'm a person. There's got to be some commonality there. And if you are with a partner, I feel like you'll start seeing your partner in a new light. Like, you know what? Actually, they're kind of everything that I wanted. I was just in my own head. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's going to be a much lighter energy, especially with this believe card. It's reminding you, like, believe, have faith, okay? Like, things can be magical. They don't have to be serious all the time. And there's nothing for you to be afraid of, okay? But I just want to read to you the travel card really quick. It says, "Let every aspect of this trip unfold in harmony. May divine order arrange and handle every detail. I'll be guided easily and follow the leads as they are shown." Yeah. So even if this isn't a physical trip, I think you guys are going on a journey next year, a journey in 2020 that shows you how to develop, start, maintain healthy, happy relationships with other people. You don't always have to be independent, and independence doesn't always mean alone. Okay, but don't worry, you will not lose your sense of self. Your sense of self is going to be strengthened at the same time. And you've got emergence here. So this is like, I feel like you guys are going back, like I said, to childhood, like how easy it was, or how simple, maybe not easy, but simple it was to make friends. Like, hi, my name is this, your name is that. Okay, let's play, you know? But the card says, "The frequency of emergence invites us to approach our reality with a childlike attitude of innocence and wonderment, and to watch and celebrate the beauty that unfolds from that place." Yeah, you know, when you let go of expectation, and you don't, expect the worst, and you don't, expect people to read your mind, or you don't like just expect so much out of your relationships, you can kind of just like let them happen, let it unfold, see what happens, and see how much fun you can have. Okay, but I really feel like, it's going to be facilitated by the strength of your sense of self, by knowing that, like, no matter what anybody else says or does, you have your own back. You know what I mean? It's going to be a really great year for all aspects of your life, but specifically in this one, I think you're going to have a really nice time and have a lot of pleasant surprises. All right? But that's all I got for you guys, group number 3. I really hope the reading resonated with you. Let me know down below if it did. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, shoot me an email. The info is in the description. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. I truly appreciate it. The magic in me honors the magic in you. Be well. Bye. Hey, group number 4, those of you who chose Celestine. Wow, this is really deep, but it's really beautiful. Okay, before I get into the details about what's going on, I just want to show you your cards. You've got the Woodward here in reverse from the Wildwood Tarot deck. Kindred Soul from Teal Swan's Frequency Tarot deck. Ascension from the Oracle of the Angels deck. Self-Sufficiency from the Wild Offering Oracle deck. Branwen from the Goddess Power Oracle deck, and she represents forgiveness. And Cosmic Flower from the Sacred Activations Oracle deck. Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle deck. So, like, this is a lot. I feel like it's there's going to be healing, there's going to be forgiveness, there's going to be release, there's going to be transformation and changing your point of view, going to higher ground, and reaching a higher state of consciousness. And I feel like it's going to bring you to a very significant person in your life. I don't want to, alarm anybody, because, that's kind of big, right? If you meet somebody who's just like, oh crap, this is like my person, and things like that, you know what I mean? But I feel like that's what's going to happen. And it's happening because of all of this, this soul searching and all of this healing and releasing. And if it's some of you are with someone already and it's been a bumpy road, and you may have left you feeling a little tired, a little resentful. And so what's going to happen in 2020 is there's going to be like a healing. Forgiveness is going to be like at the forefront of everything. And I think it's going to, you are going to go through this transformation. You are going to go and like through this like soul searching, and this like, this change within you that helps you to mend the relationship with this partner, because you're going to discover that they're actually, the one for you. But you're discovering this not because you've fought or placed blame or argued or won an argument. You're going to discover this because you stopped putting it on them. You stopped putting it on other people, and you said, okay, I can be self-sufficient. I can heal. I can, ask for help when I need it and really feel grateful for it. I can set boundaries so that I don't feel resentment later. I can decide I'm going to forgive and I'm going to let go. Right? So then your relationship mends. It transforms and it becomes like, you know, something completely different than what it started, and it makes you much happier. Or you guys have recently been through a breakup, or you've been single for like a little while or a long time, and in 2020 you're going to be, kind of like, okay, this is what it is, this is what's been happening. I'm going to take control over this situation, my romantic life, right? You're going to take control over your own healing and facilitate your own healing. And that is going to attract someone completely different who ends up being everything that you've ever wanted that you didn't even know you needed and makes you feel at home with them, you know? So I feel like it's going to start off with, you feeling kind of just like, all right, I'm tired. This has been a lot. Relationships are a lot. And then slowly you're going to realize, okay, like you're going to start breaking things down and start receiving some downloads, I feel, from the universe, and learning to like let go of your victim story, or learning to let go of blame and start taking responsibility for your feelings and take responsibility for the part you have to play in a relationship. Because so much of relationships, I feel like we think, it's us and them, and it very rarely moves as a unit. And that's so unfortunate, because that's exactly what we're meant to be doing, right? If you pair with someone, they aren't meant to make your life, like magically, mystically better. They're meant to mirror to you and reflect to you what's going on within you, right? We are mirrors for each other. And then, you know, we're meant to support each other through that process. But nobody can fix you, and nobody can give to you what you're meant to give yourself. So I feel like that's going to be learned in 2020, is like, like it says, self-sufficiency. And I'll just read to you what the card says. The ultimate self-sufficiency is relying on God. It doesn't mean hiding in a cave and saying, I don't need people. Instead, it's saying, God is my source, and I am willing to receive all the help, love, and support that wants to come. Right? So you're relying on something bigger than you and bigger than just another person. It's like recognizing that you are source energy, that you volunteered to come here not to, go back and forth with people, but to like, go on your own spiritual journey and find your life purpose. And I feel like realizing that is going to, I feel like you're going to get to the point where you're not even trying to make things better with this person, or you're not even trying to attract the one. But in doing so, in healing and going through this journey, that ends up happening, right? So, you may think to yourself like, I don't know how to fix this situation with my partner, I'm gonna go focus on me. And then you focus on you, and all of a sudden that facilitates the mending that actually accidentally fixes whatever it is that you have going on with your current partner. Or you can think like, well, love and light to everybody, but I've got to figure my stuff out and start standing on my own 2 feet. And then through all of this, through this journey of forgiveness, right? Through letting go of blame and hurt and resentment, you accidentally lift your vibration enough to the point where you attract someone who ends up being like the one for you, like your kindred soul, like your kindred spirit, somebody, like I said, who makes you feel at home. Because you've also got cosmic flower here, and it says, the frequency of cosmic flower activates our remembrance of the place we call home, the core from which we pour our magnificence out into the world. Yeah, like I feel like through healing, through transforming, the mirror will change. Or maybe not the mirror, but the reflection you see in the mirror will change when you're in these relationships with other people. Because oftentimes, we think like, oh, this person is doing something to me, or like, I don't, or even if it's positive, like, I don't see what they see in me. Why do they think I'm so great? And it's like, all of that reaction is just mirroring back to you what needs to be attended, right? What needs to be tended to, what needs to be paid attention to. So I feel like when you guys decide that you're gonna, go through this period of ascension, when you're going to change your mindset, it ends up attracting the person or people or relationships that actually feel good because of your raised vibration, right? So I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be I feel like, it's a light energy going into 2020. I feel like even if it's been heavy, like this Woodward reverse makes me feel like it's been heavy, but it's getting lighter and it's getting lighter and it's getting lighter. And it's because you're getting stronger. Don't judge yourself through the process. Let it happen. Don't try to force, don't try to push, don't try to make it go faster than what it's meant to go, okay? The key here really is to let things unfold as they will and allow yourself the time to go through this transformation. But you definitely are, and it's definitely going to make you, much happier in relationships than you've been in the past. So I'm really excited for you. But that's all I've got for you guys, group number 4. I really hope the reading resonated with you. Let me know down in the comments if it did. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, shoot me an email. The info is in the description box. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. I truly appreciate it. The magic in me honors the magic in you. Be well. Bye.